did Ruto win? If you can tell me that and give me numbers, I will respect you.
Today, let me explain to you why those the areas that you lost, and this is how you lost, because
I
you
just asked you a very good question.
That is why I want to give you the
1 + 1 is
simplest
2.
answer. I want to give you the simplest answer that you'll understand, and I want to even to give it in colors. Azimio had ilikuwa ni color gani Azimio? Azimio had which color? Which color was Azimio? Sisi tulikuwa yellow. Azimio ilikuwa color gani? Okay, whatever. Azimio ilikuwa color gani? I can't even remember because they are really fading out so fast. So hiyo color yao. The thing is, in coast region, Raila had very, very strong support. Follow Raila from 2007 to 2022. And you realize that his main point man in the coast province, in the coast region had left him. People like Kingi, Isa Jumwa, those people had got numbers, and those numbers went to UDA. So the votes that he was getting in the coast region were not as much as he used to get in 2007 and the other years. So in 2022, in the last election, his votes really declined in coast region and in western. In western, he lost Mudavadi. He lost this other guy, Wetangula. And many.
Come on, man. Be realistic. Mudavadi
I am telling you from a realistic point of view. Wetangula has got numbers. He really holds a political party. And that party, he has got followers. Hata kama ni mmoja and he was in your camp, is no longer with you. You have to understand that logic. Even if he had only one vote and he owns a political party and is no longer with you, you don't have that one vote. When you go back there in 2022...
So Western, what was the number between Azimio and UDA?
What was the number? I can't, I don't have the figures. I don't have the numbers. Maybe you have the numbers, but I can tell you.
What was the number from in Mombasa between UDA and Azimio?
I think that's irrelevant. What is the point?
Your question is so irrelevant. I am just telling you.
No, because you're mentioning places that you lost.
I am telling you, yes, you win in numbers, but you don't win as much as numbers as you'd have won in as you did in the previous years, because you have lost some appointment in these areas. I mean, hiyo huwezi elewa namna gani? If you lose a political leader in Bungoma, who is commanding the votes in Bungoma, and he has gone into UDA, but you still win in the number of votes, but not as many votes as you did the other time. So Ruto gets more votes.
Mzalendo,
you understand?
Mzalendo, if Wetangula didn't
have a leader of a community does not bring numbers. A leader of a community does not bring numbers. The voters bring numbers.
Voters bring numbers. If Wetangula didn't have numbers, he would not have been the senator. He beat the ODM candidate.
With how many numbers? Tell us the numbers.
Okay, order.
Do you want me to give you the exact numbers that Wetangula got, the votes that he got, or what?
Order Mzalendo and Martin Neto. Let's go back to our debate. And I think, Misa, you are the one who brought this strife. I think next time I want to request, I had talked to you earlier, some time back. I had requested you that when you present, I think let's avoid being confrontational and let's avoid saying nyinyi Azimio watu munasema sijui mise. I mean let's do this. Let's discuss what is on the. I think what I see here is a sign of relief for President Ruto as Raila Odinga cancels Jacaranda rally due to his trip abroad, and I don't know where PK is to come and tell us about this trip abroad. So maybe we should interrogate in that and asking ourselves that did Ruto really feel a sign of relief?
Julia,
What is it?
Those allegations are not true. The allegations you level against me are not true unless you have a scripted way.
Please stop me going there now. Can
we go? Unless you have a scripted way you want us to present our
No, I don't have a scripted way, but I suggest we come back to the motion of the day so that we stop fighting over past elections. It's not helping us. It's not helping the debate. Asking each other who won the where, who didn't win.
That is coming from your people.
No. It's Muzalendo who began this debate also to asking us.
Oh, he asked a question and I was trying to answer it, and then he gets worked up, and those are facts. You can't win election if you don't have the numbers. If you don't have your main backers who were backing you in the previous elections. I mean, that's a fact.
Okay, point noted, Muzalendo. Can we go to, I was going to Martin Deto. Can we go to today's debate, a sign of relief for President Ruto as Raila Odinga cancels Jacaranda rally due to his trip abroad? Deto, toa maoni yako, twende kwa mise, alafu twende kwa Roda na Len Muzalendo.
Yeah, on the day's topic, without going to other places, there's things I don't want to answer because I have the facts, and some of us sat here for a long time to get those facts and to have the numbers and everything. We know exactly what is going on. We fought hard for that time, and anyway, I'll come back to that. I think it's not a sign of relief. I think it's actually, after thinking a lot about it, I think it's a good thing that our father of the nation, Baba, decided not to do that thing on the 12th. I think it's a very good thing. Number one, that day is Jamhuri Day. That's the day we got our independence in 1963. And I think it's a good thing not to do it's patriotic not to do a parallel one, because first of all, I believe our side, the side that won actually elections, Yokweli, and where Kenyans are, would have had more people, and it would have looked weird to do it. And for the patriotic person that he is, I think he could be pushed to another day. That's a day that is a Kenyans people's day. Now, do some of us want to go there that think of people who have of a contrary opinion? Maybe not. We'll do something else. We don't have to go. And the ones that go, Julia, we want to come out of there with a scholarship. We were promised scholarship. We want to come out of there with a scholarship. Tupewe scholarship hata kama ni ya kukamua ng'ombe.
Okay, a minute. I want to ask you and Miss and Muzalendo. Who's promised the scholarship? I've been hearing this thing. Hiyo kitu ilitoka wapi?
Hata mimi naisikia hivyo tu kama wewe vile unasikia.
Who announced that, Ndeto? Was it is it the permanent secretary? Is it Kibicho or Nani announced? Something was sort.
Yeah, it was announced by them. They had a press conference.
Who is them? Who is them?
Okay, let me look for that clip and we see. I think I'll get the clip.
Yeah.
And there Martin.
But Mato is talking about it.
I didn't really interrupt you so much. I mean, you've already called me names and everything. Relax.
No, it's a question of clarity.
You're too small to me. Relax.
No. Martin and Mr. Tusienda hivyo.
Punguza hiyo motoko nayo. Wewe ni mdogo sana kwangu bana.
Martin, don't go there, please. Please remain to the topic. Endelea malizia Martin.
Yeah, I'm saying if we go, and I'm being jokative. Tunataka scholarship hata kama ni ya kukamua ng'ombe. We need to get that scholarship because they promised us that anybody that goes to Nyayo, they will get a scholarship. Whatever scholarship, we don't know. Whichever fund they are getting it from, we don't know. If it's from the 93 million that they found in the treasury, maybe. Watupatie hiyo scholarship. Bora siku ya 500 cause 500 na ni siku ya madaraka, we don't know how to use 500. These small promises that you're getting from our government, ladies and gentlemen, is going to destroy our government and our country. And some of us here will laugh because we live out in the, in the diaspora, but one day you will want to move back and your family is back there. All I try to say, I said I'm not going to indulge myself, Julia, so much into politics like I used to, but I'm going to stand for the truth of our country. There was people who are our age mates one day, and they fought for our country. Bernard played a couple of videos here as a Sabasaba. And I wish some people can actually understand what happened in Sabasaba. I wish some people can understand where Tomboya and how it happened, Tomboya, Piogama, Pinto, and all those people, and how the fight that was there to get where we have been, where we can actually now talk openly, even on a forum like this, without being taken away. I am trying so much not to talk politics, but to talk our country. Like I always say, nowadays, even if you're UDA, I will indulge you, but I will not indulge you with lies. And like you guys say, even today, your leader was saying, oh, tumemaliza politics, na nini, lakini si tuliwashinda. Okay, now what exactly did you just do? You said tumemaliza politics and then you start talking, si tuliwashinda, ile mtu ya kitendawili, tuliwashinda, nani walishinda. What are you doing? You're doing the same thing. And let me tell you guys, today, what is the country today? A president was impeached today and ran to the to the Mexican embassy because they knew they were going to be arrested. This thing has happened in other countries. It happened in even Ethiopia, Mugabe. I'm telling you, it will happen. Because when you have the most of your citizenry against, feeling pinched, you will have a problem. And that's why I'm saying, even since independence, hata Kibaki, even time Kibaki alijiapisha usiku, in 3 days, in 3 months, haiku imeanza kuwa watu wanakuwa vile wako saizi. But now we know, because you guys, every time we come to talk about our constitutional rights, watu wanasemanga ati watu wanaleta vita. So now we know. The other day you guys thought, oh, wanaenda kuleta maandamano nini Kamukunji. Everybody went home nicely. Now hata wajui waseme nini. They are looking for Dennis Itumbi. Which propaganda are we gonna get? We see their tweets, and we see some of us have the opportunity to see their messages. Tutasema nini about this, tutafanya nini? And people are so blinded that I'm telling you, if that Kenya goes down, Mr. will go down for you. It will also go down for me. And when people decide to move and do it, Mr. 2007, watu tu waliamua, kuna mtu aliambiwa fanya. And it started all over. And I can tell you, if you want to look at, Mr. You're smart. Look at your comment sections. Yes, you might say that this is Azimio or whatever you want to call it. But we have a lot of even people of UDA that come over here. Go to videos on YouTube and put something in there. You will see how much backlash you get. When you start seeing that, there's something my late grandmother used to tell me. Mtu mmoja akikwambia, mwingine akwambie, na akwambie the same thing, start thinking. I need you guys to start thinking, because you guys put yourself in this cocoon of the Ruto part where he doesn't even understand. That's why he wears that bulletproof vest. Because he doesn't hata jielewi mwenyewe. That's why they're always talking about ule mganga, ule nini. They're trying to give, you know, kupatia watu, kuhonga watu even to come to a national holiday. There's something wrong. And love your country. Don't love to argue. Don't love to be on another side. They say only a stupid man
Misa, umeblock Martin ama umefanya nini?
So can I speak as he comes back?
See, ongea, then I'll go through on
the first of all, it is very difficult for us to balance on how our contributions will evoke emotions in the people of the opposite. But let me say, try to talk about, people are talking constitutional rights, and the same constitution as well protects the president and provides the impeachment and removal of the president from the office. It is a procedure that is well guided, and it is constitutional, and can be taken through the houses of legislative houses, both houses, and it is well spelled out. But again, let me say that the impeachment, when any of the houses find the president to have acted improperly or not in accordance to the constitution, they can push a motion to impeach the president. And if the president is found guilty or convicted, then removal of office is follows. But that is not what the language we are hearing from Azimio. The language we are hearing from Azimio is tunamtoa kwa ofisi, tuna Ruto hawezi maliza his term, Ruto by 2023 ametoka, and that suggests otherwise from what is provided in the constitution. You see, when dealing with people, and I've said here again and again, that Julia, the same way we say things that you guys feel rattled and want to react and want to say things that in an effort of defending or reprimanding us, is the same way we feel when you say certain things that are misleading to the public. And that's why you haven't seen us complaining, saying wewe Julia ni mtoto mdogo, wewe nani ni mtoto mdogo. It's not about size or age. It is about engagement here and contributions. And these contributions are either agreed or disagreed. We come here to agree, to discuss, to disagree to agree, or to agree to disagree. So it is not about us being right or you being wrong, or you. It's constructive criticism. Where there is constructive criticism, we will very much appreciate that. But what we are discouraging and what we are coming out to say is that this toxicity is not good for the Kenyan economy. It's telling people that it is okay. You can break the law. You can blatantly not do that which that you have committed to do in terms of borrowing and so on. Then you can then you can you can, it's okay. And that's what we are hearing, and that's what we are saying. It's not right when certain things, certain language, certain pattern comes from people whom we admire so much, like Raila Amolo Odinga. We admire Raila Amolo Odinga, the struggle. But again, we are also getting to a point where we are saying it is true, Raila has contributed so much to our country, the reforms, but he did not do that in isolation. He did that with other people, people like Orengo, other people that are now there, that now he can also mentor to become the leaders of tomorrow. And again, I agree. I like the way, Mzalendo, you talked about the appointment of the two. Look at the two now top contenders of Azimio, Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Amolo Odinga. You see, your children and my children have not built what is called capital, the capital worthiness of our network, or rather the social capital, where appointment of our children we can get appointment that we need. So for me, I'm looking at a Kenyan ule mwenye ako huko chini. And as well, I'm also looking at it from a perspective of investors. A country that is characterized with mass action, continuous strikes, continuous, social tension is not a very favorite environment for investors. Investors want a conducive environment where they can come, invest, and create jobs for our people. And that's what we need to hear from our leaders, to advocate and appeal to people to come and invest in Kenya. Take, for example, Rwanda. What Rwanda did, Rwanda realized that for other countries within East Africa to start a business, or for foreigners to start doing business, it takes very long and a lot of bureaucracies for their companies to be registered. And they came out and said, within 6 hours, you arrive at Rwanda, you are able to register your business and start trading. In other words, you can come to Rwanda with everything that you want. I mean, with your goods, register your business same day, within 6 hours, it's approved, and you start trading. This is what the kind of narrative that we want to hear, and encouragement to our people, so that that is positive. People to know that they can also take advantage, to invest. Those who have money, we want to encourage people to bring what is called public-private partnership, and so that we can increase local borrowing as opposed to external borrowing. Because even external borrowing, we might, I heard you, Mzalendo, talking about us meeting the threshold. I mean, surpassing the threshold of borrowing at the international, from either World Bank or IMF. So these are some of the things that we need to cure and present our country as a country of dignity, as a country that is focused towards improving the livelihood of its citizens, vis-a-vis having politics of individuals. Oh, Ruto amefanya hii, Raila amefanya hii. Oh, Raila amesema hii, Ruto ana disapprove. Oh, Ruto amesema hii, Raila is disapproving. We will be having politics of trivialities that we do not want to engage. Kenyans have more challenges. They have more things that are troubling them. And these two leaders do not have the true test of what the Kenyans are going through. Even some of us here hatujaipitia njaa ama ile shida watu wako nayo, ndio tujue vizuri, ndio hata tukiongea we speak from that point of experience. So we just say because ya ile vile tulisema mambo ya ushabik, because I am a diehard of this person, then I'm so delusional and blinded to see the bigger picture. And I think the bigger picture here is about Kenyans getting jobs, Kenyans getting good health care, Kenyans getting good, security and so on. And I think that's what we should focus on, as opposed to focusing on politics of trivialities. I have heard people talking about mass action. Mass action is one way of trying to get to power through backdoor. It's not legal. Whereas the Constitution says that the powers of the Constitution is vested in the people and can be exercised by the people, and through the representatives of the people that have elected. Still, everything has a limitation. Everything has a limitation. Every law, every right, and fundamental rights have limitation. It's not to the left. It's not open-ended. And there's something that my brother Martin Ndeto talked about, that we should listen to what people are talking about in the comment section. The comment section is not the threshold, is not a measure of or threshold of measuring the truth or what is the reality on the ground. The comment section, most of them are cowards. That's why they cannot come here and give their contribution, because probably most of them are cyber. So they are good at bullying. They are keyboard warriors, but they cannot articulate issues in public because they are afraid of their identities, and as such, they cannot come here in public. If anyone is so confident and knows exactly what they want to articulate, I don't see the problem of them coming here and sharing their thoughts. So to me, you are trying to say something that is called in law, is called concept of foreseeability. But even concept of foreseeability, or rather foreseeable circumstances, as well has a limitation. Nothing is open-ended, my brother. So let us not try to say you have your constitutional rights, as well as people in UDA have their constitutional rights. Where your rights end is where my rights begin as well. So that is what I wanted to say. And Julia, a lot of people don't know that all of us, some of us here, are employers. We have created jobs for people in Kenya, and we are more connected with the reality in terms of economy and the trends of how the economy fluctuates and so on, and how it affects us. But some speak because they just want to speak, because they can hide behind the keyboard and speak what they want to speak. But in reality, they probably have zero contribution to the economy of Kenya other than kuchukua hustler fund na wanasema hawatalipa. Asante sana.
Asante Mise. I think we are going round the clock. We need to be winding up. Martin Deto, nataka kupatia Roda nafasi. You were speaking when you think you lost your connection. Deto, now umetuachia viti. Roda, are you there? Okay, Deto, you were saying something before you lost connection.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Deto, wacha Roda onge.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, Roda, go ahead.
You know, we need to put our country first. We know people have been, we know men and women have been studying for our country. People have been make our country to have a fruit. People like Wangari Wamathai. He's the one represent our country. Even she win the Nobel Prize to present our country with integrity. Where can we get those kind of women and men of integrity in our country, who represent our country, who love our country, who love our system, who believe Kenya is ruled by the law, our democracy, our constitution. Like today, I was leading Barack Obama. You know me, I like to know what is going on in the world. I was watching Barack Obama. He was writing today in Facebook. The Constitution US they make 2015 is still there about marriages, about gays, you know, but I don't believe gay. You know, in America they respect that constitution, but I know as Democrats they are more powerful in the gayism. So why we can be respect our constitution like in America? In America they make every constitutions and really respect. They have a majority and wherever. Why can we be, especially as we live in diaspora, we can change our country. We can put our country more righter, more righter. The school system can work the same in US if we want. But we cannot say, oh, Rita is bad, Ruto is good. Nobody is better than anybody. Everybody need help. We cannot stand here, oh, like this guy called MC. Oh, Ruto is bad. No. Rita, actually, he's a man of what? Rita is man to be respected. Rita is a man of integrity. I saw Rita when he was we're asking him question in UK before election. The way he talk, he represent a Kenya with the integrity, with the smart. You know, we want that kind of people who, when you are a politician in Kenya, you go represent your country. People they will respect you. We know very well in Africa, dictator in Africa, everybody know people like Idi Amin. He destroy his name. I was the minister of Israel. He was saying Idi Amin, he was killing our Jewish. So where Idi Amin is now, he went to grave, nothing. He make his legacy killing Jewish. He make bad name. Those dictators in Africa, the whole world they know them. Why can you sometimes make your name? Even dictator, you know, you can think that you're a dictator and you die. Nobody will stay this life. This life is too short. But enjoy this life. Make people happy. Make your own people happy. Respect constitutions, rule of the law, democracy. You know, and I'm telling you. But when you do anything you want, those dictators they have been there before, they have died. Now nobody will stay this life long. But keep legacy. We know like in America, who was the first president? Washington. He make a legacy. Everybody know Washington. Now Clinton, George Bush, Barack, Biden, Trump. Those all peoples, they have a legacy from America. They represent in America. Everybody know who is Biden. I know the history of America, and I know who is Biden, and I'm here. So let us love our country, and we put our country center. Especially you live in America, you need to change in your country how you represent a Kenya. I want my country to have the same system education in America. I want this and this to work systems, people to have money for the social welfare, homeless to be fed. We have a homeless everywhere. And they used to be fed, the government, even if they have a shelter where they sleep, even if it's one room. How can we help those chokora in Nairobi? Shelter where they want to kula gum. Why the government, they can help them? You can do something in our country if we want. Thank you. Good night, everybody. God bless Kenya and bless everybody. I hope one time we can have more writer, because our country right now is a darkness. I want my country to be right, not a darkness. A man and a woman integrity. No who represent our country, not corruption, nothing, who they put our country the center and a citizen and Kenya citizen center. That was the country I want to live. Thank you.
Asante Roda, mimi umesikia hayo. Tunataka integrity. Hatutaki tima jambazi.
Yeah, ningependa sana leo Roda amekuwa very objective. Ningependa sana kumshukuru, aendelee hivyo. Ule Mungu aliomba asubuhi ameendelee kumguza hivyo, na tuendelee hivyo. Roda, huo ndio mjadala mzuri. Integrity, I support you. Our country, I support you. The politics of putting one another down, I support you. We don't need that. I totally agree with your sentiments today, Roda. Tuendelee hivyo.
Asante mise. Wacha kujipendekeza kwa Roda. Hajasema yeye ni wa kike. Kenya with love. Malizia, you are saying something.
Pole. Nilipotea because I didn't realize my computer was not connected to the wall, so ilipotea nikabaki nikijiongelesha. But I think I've lost most of what I wanted to say. But again, at the same time, when you really have something in your mind that you want to say, it never really disappears because the idea is always there. I just want to say, our dear sister Julia, and the people who are listening to us, and kila mtu, Mise, Stone PK, and everyone, Rodam, Zalendo. I've been doing this for a long time, tangu elections issue. I'm not doing politicking a lot nowadays. I try to be patriotic to our country. And it's because the reason I do that is because I talk to a lot of people, even where I live. And I have a lot of people that we talk, and we have a community where we live. When I look at the community, I see this is a community that is living away from their country. And why did they move from their country? Because they were looking for greener pastures. And why are we looking for greener pastures? Why do I even speak the way I speak? It's because there was something that I was missing in my own home country. And I was told there was something better out there. We even do shows here. And Misa, you even did a show of how to live in Canada. I watched it. Why are you doing those shows? Why can't we do how to live in Kenya? It's because of the bad governance that we've had since independence. I always say we moved from white colonialism to black colonialism. And the black colonialism, we were almost there, finishing it, and it's coming back. And we have people, I won't mention names, people who are really educated, but because they don't want to see the whole thing, or maybe because of their naivety, they don't see the fight that is happening is to gain our independence. We had started getting that, and we are taking steps back. Some people, some of us who were there in 90s, 80s, when things were bad, when you couldn't even do two fingers like this, you had to do one. If you do two, you go to jail, or you're in trouble. We were there when Mungiki was chopping people's faces with the machetes for land or for anything. Hata ukiwa Makanga ulikuwa unaokotwa na Mungiki, not the police. We have seen the dictatorship happen. We have seen the DOs. We have seen it. I'm blessed enough to have been born mapema, though nilikula Cerelac bado nakani kama niko 13 ama 18. I'm not as young as I look, but anyway, somebody was trying to say something. But all I'm trying to say is that we need to value this country.
Ukidanganya saa zingine hii shika.
Ati? Sijakusikia?
Nasema uendelee.
Mr. First of all, I'm a born Catholic. I don't ever lie. I say what is true. You like it or you don't like it. I'm a born Catholic. I was an altar boy. Nimefanya hizo vitu zote. So let me tell you the truth. Niliponea kidogo hivi kuwa nini priest. But anyway.
But don't take Mrs. too seriously. Mrs. yule mwenye anasemanga anapeleka mbuzi kwa msichana. Alafu anapata hata hana mbuzi. You know, those, don't take Mrs. too seriously. Too seriously.
Mize kwisha.
Julia, I hope that is just that's advice to Ndeto, but to me and you, mimi na wewe kuna vile tunaingiana. So I don't take that serious. I don't take that advice to Ndeto as well as serious.
Okay, that's fine, me say. I mean, by the end of the day, it doesn't bother me anyway. At the end of the day, is how you perceive your life, how you perceive your government, how perceive you know, everything is up to you. Your life is up to you. Whatever you perceive your government, whatever you give your people, and what your legacy is your legacy. So that really doesn't me. I decided chochote. We might never even meet in our lives. But what I was trying to say, Misa, is that we really where we have come, we cannot look at it tuone tukirudi huko, be it uko Azimio ama uko UDA. Ukiona kitu iko right, mise, it's your duty, because you will be judged one day. And actually, not being judged, you will judge yourself. You will say, wow, I should have done something better. I should have never stuck here. I had the opportunity to do that. Kuna mtu saizi ako Mkuru kwa Njenga, anawish angekuwa na opportunities zako na ability yako ya kuweza kuwa kwa internet, unaweza ongea na watu hapa na waambie watu na ujenge taifa yako. Ni mtu anakutegemea. Yeye saizi anakula mtura na anaenda kulala bila stima, na ako Nairobi, na maybe hata hizi toboa kudunga hiyo shati yenye umedunga safi hivyo, na hizo vitabu zote uko nazo hapo nyuma. So lazima ile kitu Mungu amekupatia, lazima uitumie ujenge taifa yako na ujenge maisha ya mtu mwingine, so that when you go lay down, some people can come and say that you were a part of it, especially when you have such a forum. Watu wasikuja waseme huyu alikuwa tu, unaona. So what I'm trying to tell people is that Ruto is not the right president for Kenya, according to my eyes and according to what I'm seeing. He could be, but what he's doing is not the right way to run a country. He's not giving us public service. He's running the country as a mafia country. He's running the country as a money-making scheme. Everything is all about money-making. There's a fund that used to liquidate their wazee. A lot of people did not know it until akakuja. Watu wako wanajua, kama huko na mzee kwenyu, hamko mnajua, lakini ilikuwa. He took it away. There's something that Raila and Kibaki and Raila, let me use it the other way around so that Mr. doesn't hit me.
Okay, let me ask you Ndeto, na niulize Mr. na PK. Hiyo pesa ya maripo zeni haiko? Mr. What do you know about that? Ndeto, sorry for cutting you short. PK, nani ako na report mzuri kutoka nyumbani atupatie hiyo story?
Wamesema ilitolewa, you know, it's like all such money transfer projects, programs have been suspended. The excuse initially was that it has been a pilot, and my mamangu mkubwa is a victim, you know. She told me, nilimuuliza, normally ilikuwa inakaa mwezi mbili, then inakuja together lump sum.
Inakuja kama ya miezi 3.
Yeah. And honestly, that money sounds kidogo, but someone like me who had, yani nina mtu ambaye najua how it was benefiting, it's a blow. Initially, ilikuwa imeambiwa they are looking into it. So people are hoping hii who and cry itafanya wa reverse hiyo decision. Because that is one of the things that if I were Ruto, I would actually expedite it, you know, extend it to other places, including the the universal health, which was piloted in Nyeri.
Okay, also the universal health, okay, I think NHIF is still working, lakini walikuwa wanalipia wazee hiyo 500.
Sasa ukipewa hiyo 500, then your family wanakuorganize, so they were automatically, they had money to do that. Out of that money they get.
So is NHIF still working the way it was working? Because I remember I used to pay for my mama 500 and she could access Kijabe Hospital and all that.
Yeah, hiyo bado inaendelea hiyo. Yeah.
The other question, this school subsidy.
I needed to respond to that question as well, the one that's
okay. Yeah, Miss, I'm coming to you. Okay. Combined with this, Miss, what about this school fee subsidy? Nimeona fee imerudi kwa 70K. Is it going to be implemented in the next academic year?
I will not speak about the school subsidy, but I'll speak to what Stone PK is misleading the public. The idea behind suspending the some of these programs is because the government in its findings found that people were taking the elderly were not actually getting the money, and the money was being misappropriated, and so the government put it on hold to make sure that they have a clear pathway on how the beneficiaries will get money without being abused or misappropriated along the way. So the idea is not that it is the suspension is not elimination. So I think Stone.
I mean, Miss, let me ask you.
Yeah.
What do you mean people are not getting? People are getting the money. It's just that they were getting the money late.
I will tell you, and that's and somehow that is the reason why we want to make sure the government wants to make sure the money must. The whole idea, the program, the integrity of the program is the money must get to the beneficiaries as intended. Intended means
okay. So suspending. Meanwhile, now you need to understand where they are coming from. Suspending, those people are suffering more than they were suffering when they were waiting for the money for 3 months.
And so they will. There's a good news about that. That once the program resumes, they will get a lump sum of the money that will actually.
So when is the program going to resume?
Very soon, actually. And Stone PK, I think we should be clear by telling the people that the government, the intention of the government.
I think you are funny.
Hang on. The intention of the government is not to punish the people, but to streamline the money that once my grandmother receives the money as well. So at the end of the day, it's to make sure that the money mzalendo tunakusikia. So yeah, so the whole idea, the rationale behind suspending is to bring integrity and ensure that the beneficiaries get their money at time and the date and time when the money is intended to get to them. So Stone PK, it's only misadvising and misleading the public that the money was, the program was eliminated.
Okay, so Miss, I think you'll agree with Stone PK. The money is not there.
I don't agree with that.
As to whether it is going to come back, we want to wait and see with our 2 eyes and hear with our 2 ears. So Stone PK, when your mama gets that money, please let us know, and we can tell Mr. the money is back.
No, my grandmother as well receives the money, and as soon as the government resumes, I would be happy also to come with good news for now.
And let us know whether he has received they have received the lump sum. The other question that Mr. has refused to answer me, there was subsidy towards school fee. Hiyo pesa imeenda wapi? How come Uhuru's government could afford to pay that? And now this government cannot afford to do that. I nilikatiza Kenyan with love, I don't know whether you want me to go to Muzalendo because I need answers here. Where is the money that was used to subsidize the education of our children? Why has life become so expensive within less than 3 months of the KKA government? Mister, you need to understand where we are coming from. We are coming from an election we call stolen, according to many of us. And we agree with you. If you think we won, you won, we understand you. We will not argue about that. But also understand us that we think our election was stolen. And then we are going into a situation where food subsidy has been withdrawn. Bei ya mahindi ilikuwa juu tayari wakati wa Uhuru Ruto, sasa imekuwa skyrocketing. Bei ya mafuta ilikuwa juu tayari, Uhuru brought it down with subsidy, and then went back skyrocketing because Ruto took away the subsidy. Hii pesa ya subsidy imeenda wapi? Pesa ya subsidy ya masomo, ya subsidy ya mahindi, ya subsidy ya mafuta. Sasa je, nyinyi mnatuambia hii serikali ni ya hustlers, alafu mnatuambia kwamba mnatuletea hustler fund, and we sat there waiting patiently, excited for us to log into Safaricom and just dial *254#. Alafu tukapata majibu kwamba Julia, unaweza pewa so 5 peke yake. Na kwa maana the many Julias in Kenya needed money for their food, they went ahead na wakabonyesha sijui ni namba gani hiyo, wakapewa hiyo 500, wakanunua unga. Wengine wakarudisha wakidhania nikirudisha 500 sasa nitakuwa angalau ningepewa 4,000 ama 5,000 ama 10,000, ningelipa school fees ya watoto. Wakajipata kwamba walipata tu 500 tena. Sasa sisi mahasla wa Kenya tunajiuliza, je, mbona maisha imekuwa hivi ngumu hivi na tuko na serikali ya hasla? And don't forget, we don't trust this hustler. We have all the cases following him on his back, plus his deputy president. And you people, you want us to continue smiling at this government and stop criticizing them? I need someone to tell me where this subsidy money has gone. Who is using this subsidy? I need someone to tell me how Uhuru could afford all this and Ruto cannot afford. Ruto amepeleka hii pesa Sugoi ama amepeleka wapi jamani? Hii pesa mnataka kuniambia, you people Kenyans, tell me one thing. You want to tell me that we are waking up in January to pay school fees 70,000 from about 35,000? Is this government normal or something wrong with them? Mtu anielezee tu hii subsidy. Mimi nataka kuelezewa, mwenye akona hayo maelezo aniambie. It doesn't matter whether you are in Azimio, or if you are in Azimio ama wherever you are not in Azimio or KKA, uko na majibu uniambie. Sijui kama mzalendo akona mzalendo, niambie hizi pesa imeenda wapi na kwa nini haipatikani?
Wewe, it was my time. Na hata nilikuwa nataka nikuongezee ingine.
Okay, Kenya kwanza. Kenya with love, then mzalendo. I know he has answers. Meanwhile, go to Google and search Mise and Mzalendo. Search where Ruto took that money and you give us the answers.
Alafu nataka nikuongezee ingine. You know there was the infrastructure yenye ilikuwa inajengwa. When you go, kulikuwa na hizo ma overpass na nini, saizi zimesimama. Unaona? So pia hiyo tunaweza taka, kwani Uhuru alikuwa anatumia pesa yake ama ni nini ilikuwa inafanyika?
Yes, I researched that Kenyan with love. KTN was reporting the trillions of Kenya shillings that have been abandoned with infrastructure that are going to go to waste because the Kenya Kwanza government has abandoned Uhuru's projects in the name of either punishing Uhuru, because I think Uhuru is going to be driving on those roads, or I don't know what's going to happen. And one of them is the Mau Road that is going through Nyandarua County to Nyeri. Hao wananchi wenye wametoka Mlima Kenya, I almost say shame on you, because most of you voted for this government. Na hiyo barabara imesimamishwa. You people, you said Uhuru was borrowing. We saw this man going to borrow in South Korea. Alienda kuomba, kukopa pesa. This government says they are not borrowing. this income before they became government. Wameanza kukopa pesa na walisema hawezi kopa, so wameongeza madeni ya Uhuru na wanasema ati hawezi kopa, alafu after kukopa they can't give us what Uhuru was giving us. I mean, just give us what Uhuru was giving us. Musituongezea anything else. Just give us the bare minimum that Uhuru was providing. Finish our roads, tujenge hiyo barabara ishe na anything Uhuru was doing, and let our children go to school with the fee Uhuru was helping us take our children to school, na mrudishe hiyo mahindi chini penye Uhuru aliwacha, hata mzidishe beyond that, na mrudishe mafuta chini, alafu muanze kutupatia story ndefu ya hustler fund ya 500 bob.
Julia, there's a difference between grants and borrowing and loans.
It's not a grant that he got. He borrowed from South Korea. It's not a grant. He borrowed a loan. We need to know.
You need to go back and check your facts.
No, me say you need loan. What?
Check the percentage of the loan and the grant.
You people.
You see, Julia, that's the problem with dealing with someone like me. And I'm not. It's not in a bad way. I like debate. No, yeah, sitasema maneno mbaya kabisa. Unajua bado mnanigonga when I'm trying to say.
Hatutaki uongeleshe Mutembei. Unajua
sitamuongelesha vibaya, siwezi.
Kuna watu wanauliza Mutembei, I hope you have seen that message. Someone is asking for your website. They still looking about that thing you spoke about. Na bado kuna deni letu Mise, usisahau. You owe us one. So aya, endelea na uongeleshe Mise vizuri. Endelea Kenya with love.
No, Mise ni bradhangu. Hata tunaongeanga on the side. So guys, watu msidhani tunaubana Mise. No. I have his number. He calls me and we've spoken on the side too. The thing is that there's a problem here na Kenya yetu ndani, Julia. Kuna shida tu. Mimi nataka kujua Uhuru alikuwa anatumia pesa ya familia ama alikuwa anatumia pesa ya nini, yetu wa Kenya, kwa sababu Uhuru mali alikuwa amefika, alikuwa amejenga mabarabara, overpasses, SGR, even though tuliumwa kidogo hapo. I don't agree with with ile pesa walitumia, and especially being what I know I know kuna venye tungefaa kuwa na nini na SGR on the side of next back to back na hiyo ingine. There's a lot of money that ilipotelea huko. I think kuna shida mahali kwa country yetu na iko na watu wanajaribu kuongea, lakini ubaya wale watu wanaongeaga, wakijaribu kuongea wanaambiwa wanaleta vurugu kwa nchi yetu. Lakini Julia, kuna kitu moja nilisema na nitairudia tena. Julia, sijaona hii country tangu niijue tukiwa tumesimama kila sehemu ya Kenya. Kila sehemu ya Kenya, hakuna hata moja imebaki. Hata Central imesimama na sisi, half of it if you want to call. Rift Valley pia imesimama, inaona kuna shida. Na ndio maana naulizanga swali, Dani alitoa wapi kura yake? Lakini ni ile lazima pia sisi turudi, Julia, tukae chini tujiulize nini inaendelea hapa, kwa sababu tukieka hizo shingo zetu kama ka ostrich kwa sand na tuseme tu hivi ndo inakuaga, hivyo ndo inakuaga, tutaumia sisi wote. Lakini tukishikana sisi wote tuulize the same question ya nchi yetu, mahali ambapo tunaenda, imagine tutakuwa poa. Kwa sababu nilisema hapa, this is the first time that Kenya is more united than it's ever been united. Lazima tujue hizi funds zingine, hata subsidies hata zenye hatukuwa tunajuanga zilikuwaga zimetolewa. Saizi ndio watu wanalan kulikuwa subsidies fulani hata hatukuwa tunajua zimetolewa. Saizi kila kitu inafanywa na mabavu. Tena tumeanza kusikia ma scholarships zinafanywa mkienda Jamhuri Day. Tena tunasikia sijui hustlers fund tunakopeshwa na government. Hiyo kitu haijafanyika. Kila mtu alikuwa enda uchukue kuku yako nini nini, na wazee walikuwa wanapata kitu yao, na kila mtu alikuwa anajifanyia kazi. Kwa nini nchi yetu inatumika kama mahali pa kutengeza kazi, kutengeza pesa? Yet, okay, hata saizi ndio tunasikia tena watu wameanza, watu walikuwa na makesi za kuuana, watu walikuwa wakora, watu wamekuwa impeached, wamefanya nini, wote wanarudi kwa kazi. Judiciary imeumwa, watu wanasamehewa kesi. Sijui na kesi inasamehewa, unaendanga kujipigania kwa nini? Kwa koti. Ukishinda umeshinda, ukilemewa umelemewa. Na wale watu wenye pale wanaachiliwa ni kina nani, Julia? I'm asking tu. Kwa nini saa hizi tunaona watu wakiachiliwa huru, na hata uachiliwi huru unapewa kazi? Where's our constitution? Where's the chapter 6? Should someone like Waititu, who was officially impeached, be given a job? So why do we really have a constitution? Situaachane nayo, kila mtu akae. I mean, Somali waliachana na constitution yao, wakasema God for us all and everybody for, you know, everybody for themselves. Why do we have a constitution that inalinda mtu, I mean, inashika mtu wa kuku, lakini hao wakubwa wanapewa reward? Watu wa wash. I hear Echesa is bound to be given something. Rumors, but I hear it. Really? Ladies and gentlemen, is this what we want for our country? Do we really have a constitution? Or does the constitution just matter for some people and not for others? And if it does, then twende tuibesi wote, tuingie kwa serikali sisi wote, then hivyo hatuwezi shikwa na tuwezi fanyiwa chochote. We need that constitution. We fought for it. Na kama hatuna constitution, tuambiwe isikue ya watu kadhaa. Hata mtu wa kuku asijaribu kushikwa, hata makanga, hata ofisa mwenye atapewa bribe asijaribu kushikwa, kwa tulikuwa tumefika mahali makarao walikuwa naogopata kuchukua hongo. Wachukue. Saizi tumeanza kusema hata hatulipi hiyo 500 because the constitution imekojolewa.
Asante Martin. Malizia ndio tupatie mzalendo tuanze kufunga.
Yeah, so kama tutakuwa na constitution, tukuwe na constitution ya kila mtu. Chapter 6 inajiongelelea. Tukuwe na constitution ya kila mtu, ama tuitupe mbali, tutatafuta ingine when we come to get to that place. Kabisa, hakuna mtu saizi anafaa kushikwa akiua mtu. Kama Aisha Jumwa ako CS. If you shoot someone right now, hufai kushikwa kama Aisha Jumwa ako CS. Na hakuna mtu anafaa kushtakiwa na kupeana hongo ama kuwa corrupt kama Waititu ako kwa serikali. And in fact, I can go so far to say, hakuna mtu saizi anafaa kushtakiwa na land, kuibia mtu land kama Ruto ako president after being found guilty of Muteshi land. In case you're thinking I'm joking, hakuna mtu anafaa kushikwa na kesi ya corruption kama Waiguru yuko, na kama hata the deputy president ajalipa fanya the 300 million wanaachiliwa, na hakuna mtu anafaa kushikiwa mada kama bado yuko. And in fact hakuna mtu anafaa kushikiwa, let me go back ndio watu wasione tu ni kama niko Azimio peke yake. Hakuna mtu hata saizi anafaa kushikiwa attempted murder kama Babu Owino yuko. We need to look at our constitution and follow our constitution. Just because you have power, it shouldn't be that you get away with everything. But this is what the government is giving us. This government that kila mtu kuja uko sawa, kila kitu inapotea. Ladies and gentlemen, we are losing our country as we watch it. And let me tell you kitu mtu alisema, Orengo, wale watu wako hiyo side ingine, it will hurt you more than it will hurt us wenye tunalilia hiyo country. Itakuumiza wewe kutuliko sisi wenye saa hizi tunaililia, kwa sababu sisi already tunajua ile kitu tunalilia, nyinyi mnapigania, na conscience yako itakuwa na wewe ikikuambia wale watu wakisema sisi tulikuwa hapa hatusemi chote, tulikuwa tunawapiga, ona kule tuko. Julia, thank you.
Asante, wamesikia. Hata wezi tufungue kamiti, kila mtu aende free, mtu akalime kwao, akapande waru na maharagwe. Kuna haja ya kushika watu kama those who are killing are being set free. Mzalendo, toa maoni yako so that we go to Stone PK, we start.
Maoni yangu ni kama haya. Ndeto nani? The Kenya we love. Wewe ni mzalendo kweli. Umeongea maneno matamu sana. I wish they could be implemented in our country, but unfortunately those are just words. Haziwezi juu watu wale wanatengeneza hizi sheria ndio wale watu wanasiasa wenyewe, ndio hao wauaji wako bunge, au ndio wanatengeneza sheria, na ndio wale umewachagua, iwe pande ya Azimio, iwe pande ya UDA. So bado tuko nyuma kiasi. Now you asked where pesa imeenda. Now Ruto anatengeneza Nairobi Railway City, hiyo najua mjui. Nairobi Bus Rapid Transit, hiyo mjui. Malindi Bagamoyo Highway, hiyo mjui. Tanzania Gas Pipeline, hiyo mjui. Inaitwaje? Kenya Geothermal Energy Project, hiyo mjui. Mombasa Nairobi Express, hiyo mjui. Kenya Mega Dams, hiyo mjui. Nairobi Technopolis, hiyo mjui. The largest corridor, inaitwaje? Ile Labset corridor project, hiyo mjui. Hizo vitu andikeni chini, then tukuje tuulizane baada ya miaka 5 kama zimeisha. And these are very, very big projects. And I'm telling you, hata kuongezea cheap housing projects ile inaendelea sahi. By the time this guy will be done in his 5 years, hakuna rais wowote Kenya hii atakuwa amefanya vitu ile huyu Ruto atakuwa ametimiza. I can tell you that for a fact. Yeah, because tunaongea tu hapa sijui hustler fund, but the big projects that this guy is doing amuoni. Mnaangalia tu sijui hustler fund, sijui imeenda wapi. But look at the projects that are happening on the ground, and they have already started and they will be completed, and they will create jobs, and the economy will boom. These are things that are happening, my friends. So hata mkikosoa serikali ya UDA, the guy is doing a lot of things, and Ruto is a smart leader. He's not your kawaida president. He's smart upstairs. He knows where the right buttons to press. Na ile kitu ingine pia mnaongea hapa ati mambo ya interfering with the judiciary and all that. Judiciary is independent, and we all know that the judiciary is independent. The only body that is not independent, which is supposed to be independent, is IBC. IBC, where the Charara 4 were appointed by Uhuru Kenyatta. So even if Ruto appoints his own commissioner, that is politics. That is what the law provides. So some of these laws are within. So hata ukienda, if you picket, if you complain about IBC, but if you don't change the laws and the appointing authority, then you are doing a lot of nothing. Tunapiga tu kelele bure. If kama Uhuru aliandika kina Cherera, aliandika kwa sababu kuna kazi alikuwa awafanyia, na kama hakufanya, then hii serikali ingine wako na jukumu wa kuandika watu wao. It happens in all governments, it happens in all democracies. Even judges are appointed by the president. Yeah, judges that are inclined to you and to your beliefs and to beliefs of your political party are appointed by you so that things can work, because the law can also be used to fight government. If you have judges wale wakupendi, hawatakubali masheria zingine yapite. Hata kama amepita parliament, if you are taken to court, they are struck down. So you have to have some wings, some supposedly independent bodies that you are appointing. You are the appointing authority that works for you. It is normal in politics. When you grab power, you grab everything. And the reason why Kina Raila are fighting for this power is not because of you. It's because political parties are formed are created to form governments. And when they form government, they get that power. So watu wakikimbilia pande ya Ruto, don't say ati Ruto ananunua watu, Ruto ana demolish Azimio structures. Hapana. People want to be associated with power. Hata Stone PK hapo ukimwambia kesho tuende tusalimie Ruto, atakwambia nivae aje, nivae viatu gani? Hii group yote hapa, they will be running up and down kuenda kusema hey banze, we need this, I need this in Ukambani, I need this. Neto pia atasema I need this in Ukambani, I need you to do this. We can all say that. I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving an example, okay, but I used a bad example. I used a bad example, but it was just an example. Kenya we love Kenya. So some of these things tuangalie vitu, but as I conclude, our problem is our politics. Is our politics and the kind of leaders that we put up front there as people who represent us. Our politics has gone so tribal. Wakamba wako na mtu wao pale, anamuita Kalonzo, that yeye ndiye anasimamia, yeye ndiye amebeba akili ya Wakamba wote. At one particular point we had Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa amebeba wakili ya Kikuyu wote. Ukienda huko Luo Nyanza, we have Raila Odinga amebeba wakili Jaluo wote. Anybody ule anajaribu kumpinga hivi, hapana. It is this way. But if you can listen to the voices of the minority, then we will have a good government. If Baba could listen to the voices of the minority, then we will be in power today, believe you me. But he doesn't listen to the voices of the minority. But sometimes the voice of the minority.
Did you just say the voices of the minority?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think you know what I'm talking about. But let me expound it so that you understand what I'm talking about. I am talking as a politician who has been there. The voice of minority means it's very, very simple. There are people who are close to Baba, who are supposedly holding the majority, very, very close, that they would not even allow you to give Baba an idea. Hawa ndio unawapata wamechaguliwa, wameenda bunge, hao ndio unawapata ndio wamekuwa magavanas wenyu. Lakini kuna ule jamaa pale anamwambia Baba bana, hii tungefanya hivi na hivi, ama anataka kusimama na hiyo chama ya Azimio, lakini anakanyagiwa kabisa, na yeye pengine ana wafuasi wengi kushinda ule Baba anamsikiza. So sometimes it is more of psychophancy, people who loth around the political figures. Kuna watu to an extent that wanaabudu hao watu these political figures. Kuna watu wanaweza piga magoti ndio wapate hiyo cheti cha kusimama, either iwe ni Wiper, either iwe ni ODM. Kuna watu wanaweza piga kuna watu wanaweza ua, na umeona, you've seen it in our politics, people shooting each other and killing each other, and it goes like that, and it still sits on the throne na the king na the president kwa kiti moja, na juzi tu umemwona kwa screen anashutu mtu na juzi tu umeona babu ameshutu mtu hapo. It is just okay, it is just okay, so long as analeta wafuasi na anaimba wimbo ya huyo kiongozi. So let us scrutinize these leaders very, very carefully and see if they really have the hearts of Kenyans. You might say baba sijui ana wafuasi sijui angekuwa better than Ruto. I say no. Let us not act Angel Gabriel here. Let us wait. Mungu angetaka kumweka pale awe kiongozi wetu angeipata, lakini vile hakukuwa na mpango kabisa thabiti ya
Okay,
kuchukua
Mzalendo,
serikali.
malizia.
Na ukimaliza,
Hakukuwa na
nani aliua
mpango
Msando?
dhabiti ya kuchukua serikali na kuongoza wananchi wa Kenya. Sawa. Yeah, so ule mtu alikuwa na mpango dhabiti ndio alishinda uchaguzi na akachaguliwa. Na tusikue kama Marekani hapa, pale bado watu wanasema Trump alishinda uchaguzi. Wewe uko Georgia.
Mbona mtuambii kura zilitoka wapi? Lakini
nimejaribu kukuambia mara mia na pia ndio pia ukiuliza hiyo swali pia nakwambia uniambie kura zenyu ngapi ziliibiwa.
Okay, Mzalendo, naomba umalizie sasa. Asante.
Nimemaliza. Naambia ndeto atuambie kura zao ngapi ziliibiwa. Mbona hukupeleka hiyo kesi uko nayo kotini ukasema kura zangu milioni 3 zimeibiwa hapa kwa hii polling station? Where were those stories? Where was that?
Asante. Thank you very much.
Mukaleta piki bonki, father donkey, and then you ended up crying.
Haya, asante Mzalendo, tumekusikia. Tumesikia umesema maneno ya projects. I think I'll give PK this chance to comment about that. Mzalendo, kuna wafuasi wanajibu hapa, wananiambia nikwambie hizo ni projects za Uhuru, Lapset and all that, na hizo ndio Ruto anasimamisha. Hata hizi za manyumba, this housing project, in fact you spoke like a star in Hollywood. All those projects you mentioned ni za Uhuru.
Huyo mtu anakuambia huyu hivyo hajui serikali ilikuwa ya nusu mkati, ilikuwa ya Uhuru na Ruto.
Nakuomba nikueleze all those projects you spoke about Uhuru's projects, and I think it is not fair to compare Baba and Ruto, because Baba doesn't have those corruption scandals like Ruto has. And if you ask Kenyan children, Ruto ni nani? Wanasema Ruto ni mwizi, because he has issues of corruption scandals. So PK comment, then we can all wind up and say something to Kenyans. And now PK, karibu.
Wow, thank you, Julia. I regret today coming to the show, which had started so well, and it's really disgusting to listen to some of our colleagues, people having personal issues. I've heard that narrative Mzalendo is extending here. I think he's one of those guys who would want to be close to Baba, and then probably he had been denied. I've heard that from a few disgruntled elements on personal on personal issues. We are Kokampe akina Obado.
Acha yako bwana.
Those very criminal guys. When somebody says our issue is politics in the Oshida, really, we need to elevi what the Kenyan problem is. Because we talk of curable issues. How do you cure politics? Politics is politics. What you cure is you begin with leaders. And okay, if leaders are elected, are they rigged in or they buy votes? So when you tell me politics is a problem, politics will always be there. Kambas will have their kingpin, whether you like it or not. Luos the same. Kisii the same. I mean, that is all over the world. People have one who they feel is their own. I don't like quoting America, because America is incomparable. You can't compare it with Africa. There are over 400 or almost 300 years of try and errors, and they still are that. They are even tribal, racist. Okay, go to even all those other places. Unasikia they have their own ways of kind of arriving at their whatever.
So I forgot to mention to Muzalendo, alituambia maneno ya projects, and I think he understands what is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, of basic needs: food, shelter, clothing. Anatuambia maneno ya manyumba na vibarabara, sijui nini. Muzalendo, please go and do something about your government if you have any touch. You can't tell me you are making me a big house when I'm going hungry. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then I still became.
You are very right, Julia. So it is sad. And one time I wanted to ask my brother Mise, which church does he go to? Not that I doubt his faith or I'm judging, but on a lighter note, because honestly, when I listen to some of the things people are, nauliza hata ile utu mtu anakuwa hana bana. Ile tu ulienda kanisani, pastor akahubiri, ukasikia mpende mwenzako kama unavyojipenda mwenyewe, saidia maskini. You know why Islam is well, I don't want to say that because some people will throw stones, but why some people tend towards Islam? Because they have some very basic tenets of life. Like, for example, share with the poor. Their priority number one. Yani hata afadhali alale njaa na asaidie binadamu ambaye mahali fulani anaangamia kinjaa. They take that as, if you don't do that, they say you'll never, go to heaven. So when I hear UDA people talking that, this one didn't happen, this now Zalendo is enumerating projects. Why didn't he enumerate the stadiums, the computers that were supposed to be given to schools and all that? Why is, really?
Well, don't confuse serikali ya Uhuru na ya Ruto bwana.
But Uhuru was there. Let's not, again, this is where we go.
Uhuru ndiye alikuwa president, si Ruto.
Well, okay, let's not argue. I gave you your time to talk. I'm just trying to say it is so sad that sometimes our discussions here is being reduced to very whatever. In my opinion, I tend to say the day Kenya will get it right is the day we will know how to count votes. It is the simplest arithmetic on earth. Ile siku tutaweza, because we cannot be having issues since 1997. Understand? And we pretend here we don't understand. Oh, it is because so and so doesn't like kushindwa. Really? And this is young generation, imagine, still intoxicated with theft. Actually, most of UDA people ni wezi tu. That I can take to the bank. I'm telling you, corrupt people. Somebody telling you so and so is not corrupt.
And murderers.
And murderers. It is true. Anybody in government who is straight, who has credibility, there are very few. The rest, wale wamejenga manyumba sijui wapi nini, ni wizi tu. Right now unaambua passport huwezi pata, vitabu zimekwisha, sijui nini, and yet there is all that money there.
Okay, question Stone PK. Yes. Suddenly vitabu vimekwisha. Only 2 months after Uhuru was president. Suddenly everything is not there. Suddenly, nini kunaendelea?
Yeah. So basically, I'm telling you, whether people like it or not, we are in for a big surprise. We will be given list of so many projects happening, like what has been enumerated by our colleague there. It is normal with Ruto to enumerate things off-head very eloquently. It is normal for Ruto to lie with his eyes open. Okay, he can tell you even just to go there, nimejenga maternity 3 in the last 90 days. You go there, you don't find any. Ukianza kuuliza iko wapi, anasema wewe unawenda azimu, you are just an Azimio person. That we know. And that's why I tend to think maybe Kenyans should decide to just quit and then let Ruto be. And I hope, like all those people who are saying they were elected and all that, and they don't believe in Ruto, I mean, they just leave. Those who want to move over, they move. And then we see. Because sasa hapo ndio utajua mbivu na mbichi. But if you start being told, oh, you have to negotiate with the government, you have to dine. How do you dine with a thief? Wewe unaamini mtu aliiba. Unageukaje ati you are moving towards power? Those are hungry mongrels that do not deserve to call themselves leaders in our country, you know, because a leader who believes in mwananchi should stand. It should be a principle, not because at sasa Ruto amejipronounce ndio nini I have to move over to him. Then what do you stand on? In fact, for me, wacha hivi mzalendo anasema ati nikiambiwa nikasalimie Ruto ati I'll be asking what I would wear. It's because he doesn't know me properly. Maybe I'll give him my CV ndio ajue nyumbani na village na ulize from my nursery school who Stone PK is, then he can know, okay, that I don't and I would not bother. You know, mimi niko kama nyanyangu alikuwa anasema katika kwaya yao, hiyo kwaya soloist angekuwa mtu ambaye amuamini, akikoya hiyo wimbo hawezi kushika, atanyamaza. That's how bad I am. If I feel like you are not humanitarian, number one, I don't align with you totally. I know I can do nothing. I'm a simple person, but I cannot sit here and start clapping. Not Ruto. Maybe anybody else, but not Ruto. Outright, no. Until so many questions are answered. And I don't want to be told, oh, iko sheria, people should have gone to court. Which court? Which court? What happened to Senate? What happened to... Really? And people have the guts of even talking and... Anyway, I rest my case.
Asante. What happened? Kuna mama mwenye aliwa yule mzungu. Her case has been dismissed, right?
Yes. She's not guilty.
Yeah. And when
Bibia Cohen.
And when the Somalis community complained about Rashid, kesi yake imekuwa aje?
Imeshikwa.
Sinamalizwa. I saw IPOA say that they don't have enough evidence. So those are the things we're talking about. And I want to emphasize to Muzalendo, hizo projects ni za uhuru. Secondly, you cannot justify Kenyans going hungry in the name of projects. Kenyans not going to school in the name of projects. That is something that we will never understand. And I think that's what we call hot air ya Ruto na ma projects. Ati anafanya hii projects, ati anaenda kufungua nyumba za. Hizo nyumba ni za Uhuru. Those were Uhuru's projects. So he's basically doing nothing. He has not invested anything, Mr. Muzalendo. So I think...
Kufungua Uhuru mwenyewe.
Please allow me to finish. So that is a show off. Hata hii story ati ya hustler fund, alafu mnapea watu 500 is an insult on the face of Kenyans and is really not fair. I think hayo ni matusi kwa Wakenya. Ati ulikuwa na apply hustler fund na unapewa 500. Hiyo ni nini? I heard Mr. asking this guy Chaka that some people don't pay tax. All Kenyans pay tax through value added tax, VAT. So all Kenyans pay tax. Now, mwenye alipewa 500, why you give a Kenyan 500 for what? Alafu unakata hiyo pesa yake. Tunamwambia analipa over 500, umechukua sijui $25, 25 bob. Hiyo 25 bob inaenda wapi? Unamweke, alikwambia umweke. How will he access that money? This is a scam. This is a government that is scandalous and full of a scam. Na mpango wao ni kuimbia wa Kenya wamamalize kabisa, so Kenyans can see. And Ruto mwenye alituambia wa Kenya sio wajinga, and he's right, wa Kenya sio wajinga. So all those bra projects to ache hizo story, they don't exist. That's a lie, I don't know from where. And letting Kenyans go hungry ati hakuna pesa. We want to know how Uhuru was affording to do all this, and this government cannot afford. and we can tell Uhuru, while you are away, while you went to Congo, Ruto withdrew the services za masomo, za mahindi, za mafuta. While you are away, Uhuru, all the criminals were set free. In Kenya, now everybody is free to kill, to steal, to do as they feel. Uhuru, while you are away, all the projects that you started zimesimamishwa. That is what we should be telling Uhuru while he was away. So I think we've had a good discussion. I want us
Julia, can I add something, please, with all due respect?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
I was I was in the last time I was in Kenya was last Christmas, come New Year's. Julia, I traversed Kenya because I drove all the way from Nairobi to Nakuru to Eldoret and all the way to kupitia Maimahio, crossing over all the way to Nyeri and coming back to Nairobi. Julia, I saw what Kazim Tani was doing, because those people were kukata nyasi in the side, sides za barabara na nini, and them feeling and doing everything. I saw people working. Kazim Tani, that thing was working. And I came back and saw it in Nairobi. Na nikaenda all the way Mombasa, Malindi, Watamu, and I could see what Kazim Tani was doing. Unaona hizi nyasi za kando ya barabara, hao ndo walikuwa wakikata, na unapata wakiwa huko wakikata na nini, and you could see na wamevaa vests, almost, this is not a vest, but unajua zile za light, I mean it's the same idea, but something like that. Unaona watu wakiwa wanafanya kazi. Imagine how much money those people are making. I can bet you they were not making 500 to pay back. They were making their own money. Kazim Tani, people were working, and that country was starting to look like a first world country. Nilifika hivi mwenyewe nikitravel hizo side zote, I was asking myself, what? Kwani huku kunaendelea nini? Is this the country left? And these are places that nilikuwa nafanyanga roadshow immediately nikiwa campus Egerton University. Nilikuwa nafanya roadshow on my breaks, on my holidays, and I had traveled the whole of that country kufanya roadshows. But what I saw was working. And Julia, people watu walikuwa na pesa na hakuna mtu ageza kusumbua because ana pesa. Hata Nairobi yenyewe. Kazim Tani kutoa haki ya watu wenye wanakuja kutuambia hapa sijui ni nini inaendelea. And that's why we have the criminals coming back.
Asante. So we are not even comparing with Baba, we are comparing with Uhuru. Tunatamani Uhuru angeliendelea, tungekuwa, would have been better off, would not have been fighting here. So all the same, I would like to say that everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and that is okay. And we do not have to agree on the same opinion. So we want to conclude our today's discussion. Although we argued a lot, we remind ourselves all the time we are Kenyans, and that is a fact, and that we got to do what we can to make our Kenya better. So I want us to take just 1 minute to present a remark, or maybe just leave a word to Kenyans, something positive, or anything you'd like to say. Just 1 minute. Sasa nataka kuanza na Mise, ndio yeye hajaongea sana. Mise, tunakuomba utoe maoni yako ya mwisho, dakika moja tafadhali, si presentation, dakika moja.
Yeah, lakini unajua hujanipa wakati nizungumze vile wengine wamezungumza, lakini aswa
ni you spoke a lot and you fought with Martin, with Deto a lot. No, so Martin, now just close, final word of close.
Ningependa kusema kwanza Stone PK, I think leo umetudanganya sana. Umesema kwamba the basic tenets of life You used that the current government has not observed the basic tenets of life. And I want to disapprove you that the president, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, is well known with generosity. His generosity is all over. Whereas when you compare him with Raila Amolo Odinga, who is known with stinginess, who does not contribute and give his money to the public. But William Samoei Ruto has been known and even was labeled Tanga Tanga and Nabi because of the money that he has given to the people who are in need. And I can tell you that for sure he has met the threshold of the basic tenets of life, as you mentioned, and otherwise. And I also wanted to say that, Julia, this government is committed, and Mzalendo is very right. It is the responsibility when the former president handed over the leadership to the current president, whether it is going to continue with his projects or not. It is within the mandate of the president to see the order of priority of the projects that he would like to roll out. And I wanted to correct my friend Martin Ndeto, who ran away, because he knows that Kazi Mtaani was actually very limiting to very few people and did not require any skills. But what the president has suggested to begin with in terms of housing, of making sure that they have given units of 5,000 units of housing, that is a lot. It's going to touch on engineers, architectures, structural engineers, design engineers, welders, those mama mboga, kuuza chakula pale, and everybody will benefit from this massive project. And so more jobs will be created through these projects that he has suggested. And so to say that Kazi Mtaani is more realistic and more appealing than the jobs that the president has suggested, I think is misleading. Kuokota takataka mtaani, this is something that you will come to realize that maybe the few counties that you traversed, you might have seen the PR. You didn't go to the village to see that some of the villages did not benefit from that. So I just want to say that as we come here, as we are determined to be an oversight through a bottom-up approach to the current government, I think it is important that we are clear and objective as opposed to being subjective. When we are being subjective, we become more biased and we lose the bigger picture. The bigger picture here is our country. And we don't care how radical you are, how any other radical person is. And this country is not about individuals. This country is about the interests of all Kenyans cumulative. And it is not that this country will be liberated through the Azimio, but whoever who has the good intentions of our country to bring about unemployment rates down, to bring about to eliminate insecurity, the health care of our people. That is the person that we will support, and we shall not be cowed by the mass calling of the mass to intervene in order to get to the government through proxy doors. We are determined to make sure that we will work. The projects that have been suggested will be rolled out, and in due time, in due course, it will come to pass that the president, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, will be proven, will go down in history as the president who had the best interest of the Kenyan people. And lastly, I see people asking for the website. Maybe Julia, you can pin jmlaw.ca. www.jmlaw.ca. That www.jmlaw.ca. That's the website. And I think there's also someone who asked how long we take to respond. If you send in your,
Mr. Can you type it? Can you type it on the comment section?
it's just JMLaw. J as in Julia, M as in Mike, and law, L as in Lima, A as in Alpha,
Law.
jmlaw.ca. So that is what we are saying. What we are saying is that we should have a tone that, Julia, you need to put www.jmlaw.ca. So we need to have a tone that is uniting, and we need to come together with a unit of purpose, unite, not because we like certain individuals, but because we love our country. Our country cannot be united, or we cannot exhibit patriotism when we are instilling fear and toxicity to our citizens. Thank you very much.
Asante, Mise. I think I got Muzalendo. I don't know who came first. Okay, Muzalendo, your closing remarks. Muzalendo, ama umelala. Muzalendo.
He's driving.
Okay, he's driving. Okay. Ndeto.
Me, I'll just tell Kenyans, Julia, this year I don't want to. I think today I ran away from my from what I've decided to do this year. I will not come here to. When I come to the show, I will not come here to answer and talk to people who don't have their country in their heart. What I will do the best that I can to have a good conversation and to be patriotic about my country. For those who think that what we say here is not right, I would really appreciate if you keep your opinion to yourself and not bring me into it, because we know what this country, even though I'm not there, but I've been there, and I'm going there again and again and again, and I'll be there. I will be there to be patriotic about my country and to say the truth that is supposed to be the truth. And the truth is that our country is not being led the right way. But the one thing I'm very happy about our country is that we are more united than I've ever seen in my whole life. We have all the tribes, says the CRT 42 against G3 against what? And I have seen it by the lack of God and the blessings of God to bring me to this show and to meet people in this show and other shows, and also communications that I have on the side. I am happy to see all tribes of our country putting their tribal wars away and actually having a conversation and being together. There's not one tribe that I've seen, other than other days that you used to feel like this other tribe was not part of Kenya. I believe we are all Kenyans. I know we are all Kenyans. I look at all tribes the same, and I believe we will be fine. The only problem we have is the mindset capture of a few personalities that really will not, regardless what you do, a cult is the same thing we had even here where I live, the MAGA, and that's what is called KKA. The MAGA, that cult is the same thing that is happening with our friends in Kenya. That's the only thing. Has nothing to do with tribe, has nothing to do with Kenya. It's just a cult that has been made to feel that they know the country better. They are on top of everything. And they don't want to understand where Kenya has come from, is, and is going. It's a cult. And that is what I'm going to call them today, Julia. And I hope they can change their minds and actually be patriotic about our country. But as I close, I want to tell that cult and also the people that really are patriotic to our country that a day will come that you will sit down and love your country and not be a cult. Hiyo kifua itaisha one day, and you will realize where we are, how we are, and how you're blessed. God bless Kenya. God bless our country. And let us also preserve that country, because one day it will be great and these days will be remembered. Thank you that we spoke about our country. Thank you, Julia, so much for giving us this opportunity.
Asante, Ndeto. Mzalendo, your closing remarks?
Yeah, I think today we had a very, very heated debate. I think we talked about things that really affect Kenyans, things that we should see happening in our country. It is also important to correct the government, but let us correct the government positively and have solutions to whatever that is happening in our country. Just like Kenyan with love has said, the cultish following in our country is what is bringing our politics down. So we have this cultish following of political leaders. I mean, if they don't have substance, let us look beyond the Railas, beyond the Kalonzos, beyond the Uhurus. We still have people who are nostalgic about Uhuru Kenyatta. He's gone. You know, once you leave the presidency, the cameras are switched off. You are not there. There's nothing that belongs to you. Wewe enda bye bye, story yako imeisha. Now all the cameras are on William Samoei Ruto. Let us look at the positives and let us criticize the negatives happening in his government. That way we'll have a good country. And I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate the independent candidate who was just won in game, where that is Baba's stronghold. He beat the ODM candidate, that is Azimio candidate today. Congratulations for that victory. It is very, very important. It is a big, big, big statement. As much as you think that there are people who have no following, there are people who don't believe in Baba's journey. There are people who are independent in their thought. There are people who look at the brighter future of this country and beyond the political figures that we have. Thank you very much, Julia, and I hope that one day you will talk of a Kenyan who is probably in Harvard or in Boston or is in KU, who can be a good president for the Republic of Kenya, who will bring the country together and be one loving, independent-minded nation. And we grow as a community, not looking at each other in the tribal lens that wewe ni Mkikuyu, wewe ni Mkalenjin, wewe ni Mkamba, but sisi tuwe wa Kenya. Unaona, kama mwanzilishi wa nchi ya Tanzania Julius Nyerere said, you know, the problem with Kenya ni ukabila. Again, this Magufuli also said the same thing. The problem with our country is tribalism. tribalism. When we come to these forums, we see our tribal inclinations. I am glad, Mise, we come from Nyanza. People are just wondering, Wajaluo ni wale walipotea wapi? No, we are independent in our thought. We know the process. We know the democracy that is internal. We know the problem that is affecting our people. We know that what you guys are being fed with is just politics. We know what is happening huko kwa ground. So kuliona tukiongea hivi, we know what we are saying. Kuja tutakuonyesha pale tulienda mbaya and why we lost these elections. Thank you.
Asante Mzalendo, tunashukuru. Stone PK.
Thank you, Julia. Where do I begin? I'll begin by saying our country has a huge problem. And I keep on saying this, 60 years down the line, we are not able to solve our problem. The whole of this week, I've been really trying to revise my insight on a country called Botswana. And I would recommend anybody to try and read and read a lot of things about it. I think there is a lot that has gone on in Botswana, but it has not been brought into light because it is, I think, African nature not to kind of sieve, lessons learned. And that's why we will never catch up with Muzungu. Whatever we want to do, you can get your PhDs and whatever, you can't catch up with them. Even imagine a PhD Mwafrika hawezi compare na a guy who has first degree kutoka when it comes to initiatives and thinking and vouching for what is right. They shout even if anything is hata iko of high quality, but they hype. Mwafrika, we don't know how to hype what is good for us. I have examples. Look at M-Pesa. Does anybody ever hata anasikianga hiyo maneno ni ya Kenya, ni ya watoto wetu wa Kenya? No, because we have this culture of being naive. Somebody saying Stone PK is radical. Just because you are calling it as it is. We are misusing English vocabulary. That's why you cannot acknowledge and appreciate M-Pesa is Kenyan. Imechukuliwa, sasa inaitwa sijui nini. Kabisa. And we are not there to shout about this. We are not proud of what is good for us. That's why I'm recommending, if you try and read, just when you are free, Wangalie Botswana, that is one of the very, very shining country. But nobody talks about it. But they are doing wonders. Wako mbali mno. Wako yani mbele. Ukiuliza hao watu walipata independence after sisi 1966, tulikuwa 63. Tulipotelea wapi? It is because we are cowards, we are conmen, we buy these narratives of liars. When a problem is here, we want to attach it to Stone PK. We don't look at it as a community problem, a problem that is dragging the entire area or section behind. Tunafikiria huyo ni Stone PK. Hii ni maneno ya Raila. My friend, tuko 50 million. Okay? So that's why I keep on saying, whether we bring somebody from Harvard, as our brother Mzalendo is saying, or let the most genius human Kenyan, awe amesomea chini ya muti, juu ya muti, akuje na asimame na tupige kura tukose kuzihesabu 1 + 1 + 2 + 3 is your addition tupotee. You will blame tribalism, you will blame everything else. You will blame Venezuela, you blame kila kitu. But the thing is, we are not able to do justice to ourselves. Period. Right now, Akina Mzalendo na Akina Mize are saying they are talking about the legitimacy of Ruto and all that. Fine. Maybe he won, maybe he didn't win. But there should be a lot of kind of, prove as to whether this has happened. Why did it even go up to Supreme Court, if at all it was okay? I mean, we should be able to try and adopt means that will be able to create that which we will see as justice. Kitu ambaye watu watasema mbona ile siku ya Kibaki aliingia mara ya kwanza watu walikubali, even if there were small flaws, because we can't be 100% right. Ilikuwa kidogo. Why? That is the only one that Kenyans believe. At least they tried to vote, and we went close to what we could have, called like a genuine election. So it doesn't mean that Kenyans are mad. Wengine wakisema wameibiwa kura. Okay. So for me, as I conclude, I would rather we try and pray to God, if at all God will ever help Kenya, that we can decide not to hold elections. We can decide Ruto akae tu for as long as he's there. Yeah. Then we stop talking, we let him stay, and then we go to wherever we are being taken, because there is no election that will ever go right. That you can take to the bank. So badala ya kunini tukae tuseme Kenya, we have adopted a new method, and we stop pretending we have democracy. In fact, the worst we did is to bring a constitution that is too good, and it does not fit Kenyan. I say Kenyan 90+% we are thieves, we are conmen, we are liars, because we believe in them, we adore them. That I gave an example of where we praise somebody coming with a V8 and is a civil servant who has only worked for 3 years, and he's spinning a V8. He has a house in Runda, and you go there clapping, saying he's working hard, and he has stolen from you people. There's no way. Somebody earning 60,000 in 5 years and a new V8 6, 7, 8 million. Whatever business anafanya, nasikia ni business. So we adore thieves. And that is my why I, people think like I'm radical, because I call it as it is. Niwezi tu. Saa hii nimekupa example what they are doing at Nyayo House. Wizi. And another guy ameenda ametoa 10,000. And I quarreled him so much. Akapewa hiyo passport in 4 hours. Can you imagine? Yeah? Hata alinitumia hapa ati nimeipata. Kwa nini wewe huko sijui UDA was up? It is painful. It is painful, and it is sad when we support such things here and pretend that we are democracy, we should let things go and all that. So as long as we keep on covering that rot and trying to perfume it and all that, we will not. 6 years down the line, honestly, and we are still raving and writhing in the same pain, and you want us to sit here and clap for Dr. Arap Samoei Ruto as Pamise? Pole sana. Wakenya, mtahitaji maombi mingi sana. Thank you very much, guys. Good to see you. Mzalendo, Kenya with love, Mise and Julia. Na wale wa Kenya wote wako upande ule mwingine, asanteni sana for being with us. Thanks.
Asante gentlemen, na wale wako pande ule mwingine, siji pande gani Stone Pike. Unajua pande ule mwingine ni mwingine. Lakini wenye kwa comment section, Mary Awari, Chaka, Maureen, Daka. Hi Maureen, I see you. Bachu Mohammed, Chaka, Dush, Margaret, Peter Deuri, Tony Maina, Joe Dinda, Wascam, Father Danny Dairas, and many others. Tunawasalimia, tunawashukuru. I won't add anything. Thank you so much, members of the panel, for everything we have discussed. Whatever we have argued about, all of us want the best for our country, Kenya. So we want to meet tomorrow again, same time, same place. Nashukuru sana, na omba muwe na usiku mwema, na wenye wanaamka, sijui kama mzalendo wewe ni kuamka umeamka ama ni kulala unaenda kulala. Are you going to sleep or are you waking up? Because some of us
right now it's 1 a.m. I'm just about to retire.
Okay, I think most of us here is in the night. Hata Mr. we are in the same time with you. I think so. Sijui matoka wako ni saa ngapi?
Bato yuko saa 6.
Mimi niko 12. Kwanza
niko nyuma saa moja.
nimechelewa.
Mimi niko sawa na mzalendo ni 1:12.
Okay, we are all 112. Mr.
Stone PK uko wapi bana?
Niko maskani nitakwambia.
Wachara Stone PK hawezi akatoka.
Hiyo ni classified information.
Wachara Stone PK, the moment it becomes legal.
You are behaving like a Kenyan.